ACL Nation, what is up? It is Around the ACL. It's Michelle Thompson here with Trey Ryder and Anthony Ione, and I'm coming to you from a house with no power. So storming up here in Northern California. So we're in close quarters, huddled in a room where the warmth is, so you have to mind my co-hosts to my right and my left.
I was going to say, you didn't introduce a co-host. It's kind of rude. Yeah. Honestly, pretty rude.
Sunshine as close as you could possibly get to me, and then we got Koa over to the other side. So hopefully they stay quiet during this nice show. But what was your guys' weekend? Did you guys get some rest?
Yeah, I did nothing. No, that's not true. I have been revamping our digital network. So that should be I spent a lot of time on the computer this weekend. All the issues have been resolved, and now it's about getting all the up-to-date content on there. So I know cornhole fans at home will be very happy to hear that the digital network is back functional again. But that in football, that's pretty much what I spent all weekend doing.
Nice. How about you, Anthony?
Basketball kicked up again. So, and little man's back. So he jacked up his knee, right? He was out for like 3 months. So got a doubleheader in on actually 3 games. We got a third game in there on Saturday. So that was fun to see him back out there. And then Sunday, I'm working on, I think I'm done making these long cornhole science videos, man. They are so, yeah. So what people don't realize is when you do like a fully produced, it's about, I've the rule of thumb that I figured out, it's an hour per minute. So on average, if I have like a 10-minute video, it takes me about 10 hours. So that's, doing it right. And, I'm trying to put out something nice, but getting the shots, pulling it all in, the overlays, the audio, everything into the software, cut the right way. Like, man, it is. So I put quite a bit of time into that, but I think this will be the last extensive tutorial. And this is all for the love of the game. There's no financial benefit in this. It's just sharing data for people to be able to helping the new people come in and maybe some higher level stuff for our pros and stuff. But yeah, it's, I think, and we'll talk a little bit more about more responsibilities with the ACL later that I'm really excited about. So, other things are going to take priority, but man, I think I'm done, Mish, with the long ones. Maybe some short ones, little 1 minute, 2 minute ones.
I remember I used to do, or not around the ACL, we called it the ACL Throwdown. Yes. I used to do that every week, weekly. And I shot that, edited it, and it wasn't edited well. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say it was edited well. And I just developed a rule. We're doing this one take. Like, if you screw up, we're just, we're just rolling through. We're not doing just because, like, at first I got that mentality, Anthony. I was like, I want to do it right. And like you said, it was taking me 10 hours to do. You don't realize how much even just these small videos take to do. And then it got to the point where I was just like, we're one taking this bad boy, and we're just going to hope it turns out well.
That's basically where I'm at. I mean, once you start drawing on them and doing text overlays and arrows and all these I mean, just to get one arrow in the right spot, could take 4 or 5 minutes. So, when you have a bunch of those, these little things just add up, and it's like, oh my gosh.
That's why I stopped doing the film room. People love the film room.
Yeah, I did.
But it was 25-minute long episodes because I do it a whole game. I do a 30-minute episode. I'm like, guys, this is taking me forever to do one thing. To do one thing that's going to get 10,000 views. And it'd be like, good job. Oh gosh.
Trey, you and I are the same. I'm like, one take, it's got to be done. I'm not going to prepare too much for this because if it takes me 10 hours, I'm not doing it. So I feel you there. So one of the things we didn't get to talk about last week was the Open that occurred in Myrtle Beach. We had so many events happening that we kind of didn't get to spend time there. So we want to spend some time talking about that now. Our singles winner was Fisher Hamilton, followed by Alex Rawls in second. For doubles, Mark Richards, Philip Lopez, second, Trey Birchfield, Alex Rawls. All these names are what we would expect, and not that Fisher Hamilton isn't expected, but good on him to make it there to the top of that. There's a ton of people playing in that Open. It was a grind. So congrats to him. What do you think, Trey?
Yeah, I would just say, on the Fisher Hamilton side, the guy is putting together, he's setting the stage for kind of what we got from Mark Richards last year. He's already got 4 titles, guys. 4.
Insane.
Now, granted, some from the end of last year.
Yeah.
It's from this year, but he's got this Open Series figured out, and he is someone that you do not want to play. Now, this is again, though, I say it's what we saw from Mark Richards, but it's also what we saw from Alex Hicks last year. Alex Hicks did not make any splash into the pro-specific events really at all last season. So when we put all this together, do I say to myself, am I going to get a Mark Richards effect from Fisher Hamilton? He's going to be someone continuously in the top 5 conversations. He's making broadcasts. He's winning a national or 2, contending for a world championship. Or is he going to be like an Alex Hicks where he's going to dominate the Open Series? He's going to have a really good, really solid season in the pro events, but he's not having that breakout performance in those big pro events for the big money, right? That's the kind of the question that I'm going back and asking myself on what to expect. So, impressed to see Fisher Hamilton. I was really impressed by Alex Rawls. He made it finals in singles and doubles. Yes, he comes up a little bit short in both, but Alex Rawls is playing unbelievably right now. I mean, really, you even go back 3, 4, 6 months. The kid is just not really a kid anymore, but man, Rawls has really impressed me. And I think is someone that's going to be someone that nobody wants to play at all this season. I think he's going to contend for number 1 player in the world. I really do. I think he'll be right back there at the end. Also on the singles side, it was cool to see Alan Rawls and Chris Kingsbury kind of make some really solid runs. Honestly, it was surprising to see how both of them played at such a high level. And I think that's part of the reason Chris Kingsbury went so high. He was a first-round pick, right? The question is, what is that level of consistency? Can they sustain that across the season? So Alan Rawls had a singles win in January of 2022. So, I mean, and then to wrap it up, but winning a bracket, making it to the Final Four, I think this must be his time of the year. We'll see if he can keep it going. But yeah, Fisher Hamilton stole the show.
No doubt.
Anthony, you were there with me as we were commentating, at least on doubles. I don't know how much you saw of singles, but what were your thoughts on the Open event?
Yeah, I saw a bunch. It was really awesome to actually be there this time, and getting to be able to walk around, catch some names that you don't normally see, watch a full match, just to get the whole experience really does add a lot more value to the whole event. So, but yeah, we should mention coming out of doubles, and this was New Year's Eve. Your 6-0s, actually, if we go back to rounders, which would have been a little bit earlier, right? But Hissner Power looked really good. So Cody not making the trip on this one. Adam Hissner goes out and picks up a Jordan Power. They were one of your 6-0s. The Gore twins looked really good coming out of rounders. And again, walking around, you get to talk to different people and you get this, dang, I just got my butt whooped by the Gore twins, or, Jake just threw an 11-point whatever. So that's kind of the cool stuff you can pick up too. Eric Davis and Caden Allen, I thought were actually favorites to win it when I saw those two together. They were 6-0. Hamilton, Kano, who have an Open doubles championship together, also 6-0. Fuentes and Getty. I actually caught Fuentes before the tournament. I'm like, how you feel? He's one of the most confident guys you'll meet, right? How you feeling? Oh, I'm about to whoop everybody up. I'm about to whoop everybody. He always feels good. I love that attitude from him. But they went 6-0. And then I got a really good look at Vargas in this one. So that's Segura and Vargas. Young kids as a doubles team this year. Vargas, to me, again, the standout, started to throw his name out when we were doing draft analysis. If we go back even a couple months or a month and a half at least, he kind of started to show up on some radar just statistically. So I was real excited to see him play. And so those were your 6-0s doing really well. Some other standout teams for me, it was really good to see Josh back. I just really wasn't back, meaning I kind of felt like I asked the question in one of our shows, who's the better Holland? Because I really felt like Derek was the standout Holland for a while, but Josh looked really good. They looked really good as a partnership. I was really impressed with the Kufis brothers. Did you guys get to see them play at all? I mean, they just seem to be deep in every event. What were your thoughts on that?
Kufi.
Yeah, I was going to say it's Kufi. Kufi is the plural of Kufis. No, they were good. they have quirky personalities, and I kind of like it. You know what I'm saying? Like they're enjoyable to watch a little bit, just because they're a little bit quirky.
They're very quirky, and their game's quirky too. You know, I can't really pinpoint what style they are. They're kind of they're not going to run bags, but they can deal with the mess. It's just like his own style. I don't know, but yeah. So their personality definitely translates to their play. You mentioned Rawls and Kingsbury, definitely standouts. Lopez Williams looked really good out of the gate. They were one of the 5-1s, and then Burton Jr. and Chamberlain, which I expected could have been, one of the dark horses to win a bracket. They looked really good as well. But yeah, when you get into it, I think you mentioned it. Man, Lopez, we talk so much about Richards, and man, Lopez he could be a top 6 or 7 guy. I mean, he is just consistent, and as a doubles team, they're dangerous. I really spent some time to watch Richards in both singles and doubles, because I was curious, what kind of player. We've been talking a lot about him changing his game, so I really wanted to digest what he was doing in certain scenarios and spend some time talking to him. So, I'm convinced now that he's not in love with this roll bag, which I was a little nervous about. He's definitely sprinkling it in. He is. There were times where he selected a roll bag over an airmail, and maybe it's so hard because the guy has such an insane airmail, and he was the best player last year with relying on his airmail. So, I get the evolution of the game. So you add a roll bag to an already best player in the world, if he's using it at the right time, I mean, why wouldn't he repeat? So those were definitely some of the ones that stood out for me. But in singles, there were a lot of brackets. Actually, Mish, we should go back to doubles. We dipped out, right? I think it was like, I don't know, 11:20, 11:30 at night on New Year's Eve. And we're like, hey, Wally, you got this, man? Because we're gonna go hang out with Trey up in the party with the team and have a few drinks. So he's like, I got this. So yeah, we dipped out right before the finals, but we're up there and we were kind of watching the matches. But those guys played through the New Year's. They kind of celebrated on the boards. So I thought that was pretty interesting. We kind of dipped out and went and hung out. But yeah, in singles, definitely the bracket winners: Wiedenfield, no surprise; Harbaugh, Hamilton, Graham, Dennis. Caden Allen continues to win brackets. Alex Rawls and Alan Rawls. So I think Allen was the only kind of surprise for me, because in his bracket, he had a Windsor. He had an Alex Hicks. He had some of these guys that challenged him. So, hey, props to him. In doubles, though, it was kind of rough. Thank God for the shot clock, because Rawls and Kingsbury, if they had 20 seconds, they would use every bit of the 20 seconds. We were over there at the commentary booth just like, oh, yeah, they're using every bit of this. And it really does just kind of drag. Keck comes over. I don't know who went and got Keck, but Keck came over and he's like, all right, it's already almost midnight. Let's get these guys on the clock. But, hey, really, really impressed with those guys. I don't know, Mish, what did you think? What did you think from that experience?
I was the one that got Keck.
Oh, I wasn't going to rat you out. Was it you? No, I actually didn't know it was you.
They could be mad at me, but come on. It was late. Get things moving. No, it was really good. I did feel bad dipping out on Wally there, but it was like almost midnight. And have we ever had an open go that many hours? That was a long one.
It was a long one.
Yeah.
It was a long one. A lot of events.
One thing, just one comment about like Richards and Lopez. It's like they may be the most there was going to be a weird word, but like unexciting best team of all time.
I was going to say fundamental. Yes.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah. They're a pitcher. They're going to go out. They're going to give up like 2 earned runs. You're going to win the game 3-2. And they're going to do that 16 times throughout the season. Right. It's just like, they just are just fundamental is a good word. They don't make mistakes. I mean, I even watched Philip Lopez play FAFSM, who was a guy out of Rock Hill who's really good. He should be a pro next season. But like, Sam had the best game he's played in a while, and he won, and he beat him. He beat Lopez, but like, he made him absolutely earn it. Lopez wasn't out there throwing bags off the board. He's just sitting there grinding bag after bag around the hole, in the hole. hitting some, airmails. I mean, just like your dog's house. I'm sorry, I'm so distracted by Page's dogs right now.
I'm like, stop, Koa, stop.
Oh gosh, but as I was just saying, it was just Lopez and Richards. They just don't let you win. Like
Right.
they make you earn it every single time, and to me that is just annoying. Like annoying having to play against them every single time. It's just crazy.
That's a good call.
I was the only one that put Lopez in my top 10. I feel like people forget how good he is or something just because of Mark Richards. But I feel confident having him there.
Richards is more fun to watch now. I will say that. It was fun watching him mix it up a little bit. Yeah, I agree. It's like watching Tim Duncan and the Spurs, 15 years ago. They would constantly win, but they were so fundamental. It was just like, oh gosh, this is boring to watch. But
they make it happen, right?
Yeah.
Just make it happen.
Definitely. All right. Well, let's transition into some news around the league. We had the Northwest Conference event. Our singles winner was Philip Swanson. For doubles, Donald Holt and Chad Rowe. We also have some commentator roles, some changes coming up here in 2023. You're still going to have Jeff McHarriger for all your play-by-play, so he's not going anywhere. The golden voice is still there.
The golden voice.
And then color commentary for Nationals, Worlds teams, you're going to get Trey, but color commentary for Super Bowl and shootouts, you're going to get Anthony, and then I'll be there on the sideline.
I'm pumped.
Yeah. Kudos to both of you. Round of applause. You guys getting bumped up, and we're getting to be important people now.
Hey, you add the teams event to last year, right? That's at least 8 more broadcasts. So obviously Trey can't do everything. So yeah, I'm excited for the opportunity to just do my best to fill his shoes and just have some fun with it. I mean, Jeff's going to make it easy, right? Me hanging out with him in the booth. He's just so good at getting you in and out, setting you up, controlling the flow of the game. So now I'm excited to just kind of, just like when you started playing cornhole, I kind of consider myself like a player that could still move up in the ranks, improve my game. So I'm excited to kind of get more reps with him in the booth and work, and I think there's a lot to be said about two people working together. I mean, even Mish, from the first time we started working together, now we're, maybe 40 hours in of commentary. I feel like over time you start to figure out how to flow with someone specifically. Maybe Trey, I mean, how did that work out with you guys over time? Like, was it shaky to start and then over time it got better? Like you can sense when they're done talking, when they're about to come in, I don't know. How does that work?
Yeah. It's all about just developing chemistry. Like, I mean, it just establishes over time. Right. And I like it because when I watch both of you guys do it, I could tell, like, even when you first started, you knew what needed to be done. You just weren't there yet. And then I could see it develop over time. Right. Even Michelle in this last broadcast, like, I think at first she was like, her first time doing sideline reporting. She's like, what in the hell is going on? Right. But then, like, as we kept going through the show, I could tell, like, oh, okay. I could, like, watch her and I could see her. She's just looking around. Her wheels are turning. Like, I could see it happen. So I'm just excited. I think it's going to be great. Michelle will bring another great flavor to the broadcast. Anthony being in the booth will give me a chance to be a heckler in the crowd, so that'll be great. But overall, I think it's going to be a fun 2023.
So you're still going to make it to the shootouts and Super Bowls?
Probably a 5 out of 8, maybe. There may be a couple that I don't go to, but I'll be there for a good majority of them.
Okay.
Anthony, I told myself after that first broadcast in Myrtle Beach, this is the worst I'll ever do. Let's just say this is the worst I'll ever do.
All uphill from here.
It's all uphill from here.
Well, yeah, because again, it was your first time, and it was with college kids that you didn't know, so it was like It was the double whammy. But I thought you did great. I thought it was awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm excited. All right, let's get into some more draft stuff. We did kind of analyze the draft a little bit, and Wally and I did also on Baggin' and Braggin', but what we haven't done yet is get into some draft grades, which I don't know about you guys, but it's my favorite part of fantasy football is to see my grade. Unless it's bad. Then I don't know what they're talking about, clearly. But Trey went ahead and put some grades to this, and Anthony's got some more to add to it. So Trey, let's kind of go through. We're going to start with the American North and with the Michigan Marauders. So what do you got for the grade there?
Yeah. So the funny thing is, I want to make one comment that right before we came on, we were kind of talking about this episode, and Anthony made the comment, I don't know if I really assigned much of a grade. Everybody kind of felt all very similar, kind of like a B, right? Without him just saying that blanket, right? My grades ranged of these 4 that we're going to cover from a C+ to a B+. So literally one letter grade variance is the extent of all my different grades for this one. Because I think I agree with Anthony. I think there were some things that each of these different teams did really, really well, and other places where I didn't love what they did. And it kind of all put them in a similar boat. So Marauders, I looked through this team. I thought they had a great first through fourth round. Okay. They were a team that I really like who they picked up. Obviously, you start off, you get Jay Rubin, right? So anytime you get Jay Rubin, you're going to have a really strong member of the team. They didn't get Jeremy Schermerhorn out of the gate. They did trade for him later, which I'm going to talk about in a second. In addition to that, I really liked that they got Walter in the 9th round. Tom Walter in the 9th round was kind of a steal. But the worry for me is when I factor in the trade, 5 through 7 in their draft now is kind of like lacking. It's kind of gone, right? They did get Jeremy Schermerhorn, but they lost some mid-round depth by giving up both Gabe Dolan and giving up Carson Getty. So I love their first through fourth rounds. I think they got some studs, some good picks. Walter in the 9th round was a good, solid one. The trade made me iffy. I had them in an A- to an A range before the trade. After the trade, I have them at a B+. So B+ from the Marauders for me.
Interesting. Anthony, what do you got on the Michigan Marauders?
Yeah, Marauders. So I kind of looked at it. I was kind of looking at also what you were talking about, where they were picked up. I learned last season, actually, that PPR didn't necessarily matter so much, which makes sense, but when we were first going into this and we had 103 or 4 rookies, it's tough. And a lot of players you had never seen before. It's tough to analyze skill other than looking at a PPR. It just gives you some sense of skill level. So I did look at PPR. I also looked at how many rookies they pulled in. I looked at qualification method. I looked at pros overall. So if we look at the Marauders, they picked up 4 PDC players. And what's unique to me is all of those guys were on application. So, when we talk about qualification method, and it's a little bit different with the PDC as we kind of talk to this. Did you get in through the gauntlet? Did you get in through open? Did you get in through an application, or did you win a conference? These are all I think that gives you a sense of talent as well. But as we kind of walk through this, just to give you a sense of PPR, if I look at PPRs going across, they were the 2nd highest. Again, didn't really matter last year, but I just wanted to note that one. And then they have 5 rookies. One of them being Jared Kufis. We just talked about him. I think he's a great pickup in the 7th, 8th round, it looks like, as a rookie. We also have Chris Day. I'm really excited to see this guy play. He did really good at one of the opens, I want to say, last year, Trey. I feel like it was early and then nothing happened for the rest of the season. So I'm curious to see and he was a late pickup. He was a 10th pickup. I think that's a pretty good pickup to pick up a veteran like that. Daniel Walker was also a rookie. Chris Morrison, which I thought was a great last pickup. We're talking about a 9-1 guy as a rookie coming in. He was completely off my radar, but overall, if I were going to rate these, and it's going to be the same for me, as Trey was saying, I'd say that it was kind of B. I think a solid B for them in that one there.
All right. Next up, we got the Ohio Aviators. What'd you give them, Trey?
Yeah, I gave them a B, right? Like just a solid B. Fisher Hamilton was a home run first pick, right? That's who they needed to get. That's who they got. Home run. Don't worry about it, right? Tyler Cobb at the second pick on their team, I thought was maybe a little bit of a reach.
You think he could have been there? Like they could have grabbed him in another round?
That's the only thing. Because they're near at the end of a round, it's tough to say for certain. But I think they might have been able to get him on the backswing. Regardless, I think it's okay. I just didn't love that positioning as far as the draft goes. I loved the trade. The trade, which we just talked about. I said I didn't like it for the Marauders. I did like it a lot for the Aviators. They picked up 2 solid players. Very happy there. To me, they went veteran heavy. So they said to themselves, I think they're the success of their team is going to be predicated on the performance of some of these veterans like Ashton Spiess and Corey Morrison, who are consistently undervalued and underrated. Are they able to play at a high level? And if they are, I think the Aviators can have a pretty solid team, but I give them a B.
Anthony, you agree?
Yeah, one thing to mention, this team is all pros. So no PDC in here. And I actually missed it back at the Mission Marauders. I thought it was worth mentioning is they have an insane amount of people. I'm looking through it right now. All of their pros are in the top 100. So if we look at ranks from last season, they are all, we got a 27, a 64, a 40, a 25, a 49, a 29, 84 is their highest rank. And that's a Chucky Love in the 4th round with a high PPR. So I will say for the Marauders, though, it was really high ranks from performance from last season. But yeah, for Ohio, all pros again, as I was saying. So that's significant. They're saying, hey, we're not going to look really deep into this. We're not going to really look to the PDC. And there were some standouts, and I'll mention one a little bit later that could have been a pickup for them, but they stayed all pro. Yeah, like you said, Hamilton, Ty Cobb went 1 round early, I think. Gabe Dolan was right behind him. I think he could have been another round later. Ashton Spiess, I think, was about right. But to your point, Trey, I think early they could have probably just pushed the picks down one more. Like you said, being on the turn, coming back, maybe try and get Cobb in the 3rd round. But yeah, those are kind of my takeaways. Again, not bad. I mean, I think a solid B for that squad.
What about the New England Woodchucks, Trey? What do you got?
Yeah, so I'm a Woodchucks guy. I'm a New England guy, which means I'm going to be harder on them. Okay.
Oh, so does that mean you're biased? Okay, got it.
Yes, I'm biased, but I'm going to be harder on them, right? So easy first pick, Kyle Malone, slam dunk, ride it, done. I think everybody has the same reaction of where they went to. They went Shibner, right? To me, it's a reach, right? Now, I think they also had another reach a little bit later in Brent Smith, okay? Those 2 reaches are going to make or break their team, okay? The good news is we don't really know, right? We don't really know if we're guessing they're going to be reaches, right? We're assuming they're going to be. But in 4 months from now, 5 months from now, that's when we're going to be able to tell if they were reaches, right? The thing about the Woodchucks is they are really heavily reliant on unknown rookies and how they will perform, right? Plain and simple. They could perform at a really high level or they could not. And that's just an inherent gamble. Opposite of what the Aviators did, right? Aviators say, I know who Ashton Spiess is. I know Corey Morrison is. I expect him to perform like this, right? And I know what their floor and ceiling is. I don't really know what the floor and ceiling is for Zach Shibner or Brent Smith. So I really like their late pickups. I'm going to give them a C+ because I'm pretty hard on them. But I will say that they have a huge discrepancy between their floor and ceiling for the Woodchucks.
Ooh, C+. Anthony, what do you think? Is that in the C category?
I think this is either going to be a genius team or a flop. You got humans behind this. I think there's some genius in here. And I think what we don't know is how they're going to set up these doubles partnerships. And I think that's where humans comes into play here and how he's thinking about this. How he matches up this team into doubles could end up being genius. You did mention the rookie. Eight rookies, Trey Mish. 8 rookies on this team, by far the most out of anyone. I will say with Brent Smith, I thought I knew every 9'6" cornhole player on the planet. I didn't know him. He's a 9'6" guy coming out of the PDC, and this is over hundreds of rounds. So 9'6" in games is, you can't deny that kind of talent. So that one kind of surprised me a little bit, but I agree. Shibner in the second round. I think this is where Jimmy kind of gave me some shit when I went back into the captain's area. He was like, "You're doing a good job, except you're basically making my team look bad." And I was like, sorry, man. But yeah, Shibner was an off one for me. I was like, second pick. Couldn't you have got him in that third round? Now he did show out, right? Over the weekend. Again, we kind of saw that trend. The guys that were having a good weekend at Myrtle, I feel like they kind of bumped them up a level or two. But overall, 8 rookies. I think it's a brilliant team, or it's gonna fall apart completely. So we'll have to see how it turns out.
All right, last one's the Pennsylvania Ringers. What kind of grade did they get?
Yeah, again, all kind of in the middle there. I gave them a B minus. B minus. I love getting Foreman second. That's exactly where I wanted them to go. They didn't have to waste a first round pick. They took Justin Burton Jr., right, which is great in the first round, but you also took a rookie with your first pick, right? Someone who hasn't won a big event just yet. Not necessarily saying I disagree with it, just saying that's some caution to throw, right? You took a rookie with your first overall pick. Same thing when they took Brunson. Brunson's one of those players, Nick, listening into this, close your ears, but like he's unproven in a way, right? Again, we know the talent's there, but the question is, will he perform? I think a similar situation here. You're reliant on rookies in key spots in order to be successful. Love Gage Landis in the 6th round. I think that was a steal, a great player, hometown player as well. Overall, B minus. And again, similar to the Woodchucks, though, if those rookies perform, they only have up to go.
All right, last minute thoughts, Anthony.
I like the rookies they picked up. 5 rookies. Burton Jr. we know well, right? World's singles final with Wiedenfeld. Good pickup there. Adrian Brunson, another strong pickup. David Ryan in the 5th round, I think, was a strong pickup for him. He's already shown what he can do alongside his son in doubles. And then pretty decent pickups with Brian Edwards and Nate Long deep in the draft. Those are going to be your 5 rookies. Again, another full pro team except for one player coming out of the in the PDC, Adrian Brunson, and you can't argue with that guy. So overall, I mean, I feel pretty good about this team. I share a lot of the same thoughts you have as well, Trey, but I would give them a solid B as well in this one.
All right. Well, we'll keep you updated on more grades in the weeks to come. But let's go over to buy or sell. I will read a statement, and you guys let me know if you buy or sell. The first one being that you would take Fisher Hamilton over the field in a Rookie of the Year award prediction. Trey, buy or sell?
I put a poll out there, and I said, who do you take? Fisher Hamilton, Ryan Wiedenfeld, or the field? And Fisher Hamilton won by about 20%. And Ryan Wiedenfeld and the field were about even on percentages. I don't know. Something is telling me I really like how Wiedenfeld and Ryan Smith played together at that first event. And although Rookie of the Year is going to be heavily decided by singles ranking, if Wiedenfeld and Smith are able to have a really strong season in doubles, it is going to add to the resume. I'm actually going to sell and say, I am leaning towards Ryan Wiedenfeld. I started with Logan Chamberlain. Now I'm kind of on this Ryan Wiedenfeld bandwagon, and Alex Rawls is just going to be sitting there waiting for me going, all right, just let me know when you're ready to jump on the Fisher Hamilton bandwagon. So I'll sell.
Well, Wally will agree with you on this one. All right, Anthony, buy or sell?
You can't. I mean, that's a good picture. I mean, I know we're all thinking. At least I was from the very beginning thinking Hamilton, but picking Wiedenfeld, that's a good pick as well. But Hamilton, he's the most dominant, I think, non-pro coming out of last season. He was a singles Open winner, a doubles Open winner with Kano. He did win his bracket at Worlds along with Wiedenfeld, but Wiedenfeld did go a little bit further. Wiedenfeld first, Hamilton third, with JBJ in the middle. I think those are your 3 guys that we're talking about. We might want to start talking about adding a purser in there a little bit. Maybe it's too early, but he could certainly be a guy who comes out start of the pro season and really just dominate. But yeah, for right now, I'm kind of leading towards Hamilton.
So you're buying?
Bye.
Okay, just making sure. Second one, Alex Rawls is the best player in the world right now. Buy or sell?
Buy, no hesitation. I'm buying it, and I just think I think and sure Fisher won this past year or this past event, fine, but Alex Rawls, I'm not seeing anybody better right now.
Anthony.
I'm buying as well. The kid's balling. Here's the thing about Rawls. I feel like his ceiling is his floor. I feel like the guy is so consistent. Like, when is he ever bad? If he's bad, he takes third or fourth. Like, he is insane consistent. He's always in the podium mix. You know, if he's not first, he's third. He's just right in there. The only other person we're saying in the world right now, the only other one that could come to mind maybe is like a Caden Allen, just because of his consistent reign of winning brackets. But I'm going to give it to Alex Rawls for sure. Buy, Mish, since you want
buying it. All right, Kyle Malone is top 10 player. Buy or sell?
Right now, I'm going to say yes. Now, you said he will finish a top 10 player. I want to see it one more time. One more time before I make that prediction. Right now, yes.
Prove it.
Prove it. Yeah, prove it.
Anthony?
Yeah, recency wise. And when we say recency, not just like the week, but I would say over the past like 4 or 5 months, the talent is there. He's beating the top 10 players in the world today. So he's certainly capable. I don't think it's a question of how he can, what his ceiling looks like or what his performance looks like. I think the question is like you were saying, does he maintain that level of talent? And to me, it comes down to life. Does life get in the way? You know, we had the suspension from last year. He slipped up. That's behind him. He's pretty open about the struggles of being, you know, a parent, you know, separated from his baby mama. I was a product of that, and it takes a big toll on the life of the parents. If he can get that squared away, if he shows up to the boards and he's completely focused, he could be the number 1 player in the world. That's how good I think Malone is. He's just got to get his personal life squared away, and he could be one of the best players in the world. I'll buy, though, because I had some conversations with him at Myrtle Beach. He seems focused, and he just seems motivated this year to really get it done. So I'm going to buy, Mish.
Okay. How about Rosie Streaker's back? What do we think?
Buy.
Bye.
Rosie Streaker's back. You know, I was not ready. I didn't feel like I was totally ready to say it, or maybe I was kind of saying it in jest when she was at that conference event and played so well. But then for her to put on the performance she did at the last pro shootout, get all the way to the end, like I think she's got more chemistry now with her bags. She's more focused. She's more, I don't know. I hope we see more of it this year, but I fully expect Rosie Streaker to be a top 4 to 5 female this year in the pro division.
Anthony, agree?
Buy. That one's easy.
All right, last one. Chris Fagan was the most pro-ready prospect from the NCCC.
Yeah, this I'm going to buy this one as well. I know Cole Brewer won. He won. I mean, what I saw technique-wise out of Fagan, I liked the different levels of shot selection. No doubt about it, Cole Brewer played the best that day. And he may be the second best prospect that there is. I don't know. I just saw a different style of play. And almost to me, and Chris would hate to hear this, it almost felt like he let that game go and he just didn't play his best, right? When I get the best of both, I think Fagan is a little bit more dynamic. And so that way I'm going to buy it on that front.
Anthony?
Yeah, you nailed it. He sold. He sold in that final, and he told me himself. He's like, I sold. I couldn't get it done. I should have won that. But you nailed it. I think stylistically, he is the most ready pro. IQ-wise, confidence on the boards. This guy has been playing some of the best for a while. He's well known within the cornhole community because of his performances against some of the best in the world. So I buy that one, Mish.
All right. Let's talk about some updated award winner predictions. We've touched on this in previous episodes, but we're getting into the season now. So what are we thinking for MVP, Trey?
Yeah, MVP. I'm gonna I'm gonna ride the high. I'm gonna go Alex Rawls now.
I knew it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of just change it up. I mean, I feel like my opinion changes month to month, but I'm just so like skewed by certain things. But if there's anything I've seen over the past couple months, it's that we've seen ebbs and flows by certain players, except Alex Rawls. Right.
Yeah.
Yes, he hasn't really won much, but he's been like, Fisher Hamilton beat Alex Rawls in the finals. Caden Allen beats Alex Rawls in the semifinals. Like all these people beating Alex Rawls like right there at the end. And so something to me just says this is going to be the year that he puts it all together and gets and becomes the MVP at the end of the year. He's playing with Trey Birchfield. You know they're going to be a dominant team again in doubles. So I just think he's got a chance to sweep everything.
Anthony, you got the same one?
I'm with you, man. I am so tempted to go Alex Rawls. I think he deserves it. But something keeps telling me to stay with Jamie Graham. And if he didn't have that performance he had in Myrtle Beach, making it all, he's on TV for the shootout, right? He was the last two standing. I think I'm going to stick with my gut here and go Graham. You know, little things like he's got his structure in his backyard where he's repping now. A dedicated, he walks out his door. He's got a environmentally controlled indoor structure to rep bags. The shoulders behind him. He's a proven champ, but Alex Rawls is right there with him. I could be convinced of that one too. So I'm going to go Graham for right now, Mish.
All right. Rookie of the year we kind of touched on. Are you going Wiedenfeld then, Trey?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Wiedenfeld. I had Logan Chamberlain at the beginning of the year. Just haven't. I still want to root for Logan. He's still who I'm rooting for, just because I think he'd be a good dark horse. But I'm actually going to go with another dark horse now, and not dark horse, another non-favorite, because Fisher Hamilton's going to be favorite, and go with Ryan Wiedenfeld.
Anthony, how about you?
Yep, still Hamilton, but I'd like to definitely add Purser to that conversation as we move further along. I think he deserves to be in that discussion.
Sweet. Good news for the Cali Slingers. All right, breakout player of the year. What do you have for that, Trey?
This one is interesting because, we went through our entire list. I've seen cornhole for the past couple months. I don't even remember who I put on my breakout player of the year from a while ago.
Alec Ryan, I'm pretty sure you did, right?
Alec Ryan, yeah, you're right. Alec Ryan, I think that's right, because I had him at like 42 or something like that, right? I could not believe this when I was going through. Last year at 105 was Jeremy
Frazier. Yeah.
And I was like, this has got to be a typo, right? I like Alec Ryan still. I think he's going to be 1-2, but to me, Jeremy Frazier could be a top 30 player. Based on how he's been throwing over the past 6 months, that's not an exaggeration. And for him to go from 100 to 30, that would mean if Alec Ryan was going to beat that, Ryan would have to go from like the 40 to like 10 or better, right? He'd have to really make a strong jump. I think it's going to be a two horse race between Alec Ryan and Jeremy Frazier. I'll say Jeremy Frazier just to go a little bit on the edge.
Anthony?
I love the Frazier call. I had that one on my list too. I like a Nico Morellis as well. He was just a little bit ahead, 102. I think he has that 25 to 30 capability. Maybe shock us all at like 19 or 20 or something like that. So I like him in the mix. Jake Gore at 118. I can see him being a top 35. Maybe you go from 118 to 30, 35. That's pretty good. Cameron Belvin, 121. I think she's throwing really well. And then what about this? What about Kyle Malone going from, we can ignore last year because he was 226, but if we go before that, he's never been a top 20 guy. What if he were to finish second or third? That could be like the Tony Smith concept where he moved into 5 from like 40 something, so, but right now I like Nico Morellis, moving in from 102 to like, man, if he makes 23, 24, 25, I think that's worthy of a breakout player.
Only other one I'll mention is just because firsthand experience, kind of what he was doing in the area recently, and Trevor Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Trevor Brooks is right near 100 last year's rankings. I'm telling you what, him and Frank Modlin just won this Rock Hill Regional this weekend, which is not easy, and Trevor Brooks was the leader of that team. It was not Frank Modlin.
Interesting. All right, how about let's go both of them, man and woman of the year. Who do you have?
gosh, I want to be not boring here. Like I want to be, but I can't. I cannot.
Rawls.
I cannot. I'm going to go Alex Rawls because that was my MVP pick. I just can't physically get myself to pick anybody else but Cheyenne Bubenheim. I can't. I don't know what it is. I think I'm just my head is just so fixed on it. I don't know. I'm gonna go Cheyenne and Alex.
Anthony, are you boring too?
Yeah, and so now we're talking about the doubles part of this, right? Or no, is man of the year is just singles, right?
Yeah, man and women separately.
Yeah, so yeah, we're thinking doubles when we were talking player of the year. Yeah, man, I could. This one's so tough. Tough. When you compare the partners, in the player of the year, you got Guy with Graham, you got Birchfield with Rawls. I think you said that. Birchfield got his boo thing, right, going on there, Mish. So I feel like he's sliding down just a little bit. So Graham's going to win that with the doubles part. But when you get down to just singles, coin flip. Gosh, I'm gonna stay with Graham just so we can kind of battle this out to the end there, Trey. I'm gonna go with Graham.
And can you pick anyone but Cheyenne?
I am gonna go with someone else. The number 2 woman multiple years in a row. I think Sarah Cassidy comes out and is Woman of the Year this year. Come on. Yeah. And she's still consistent. Let's look at the drafts. When you filter on PPR, now we can talk PPR with the ladies. They play a PPR game. It's all about whoever can put the most bags in the hole. At any given time, she's either going to be the top or she's going to be like second. You've got Finley and Streaker right there with her. But her play is continuing. Looking at her PPR up to today, she's a 9.6 to 9.7 player. So I'm going to go Sarah Cassidy, Woman of the Year.
All right, last one, doubles team of the year. Who are you picking, Trey?
Team fundamentals. Team fundamentals, right? I mean, just bore me to death, baby. Bore me to death and bring me another World Championship Finals appearance. I mean, that's when you know you're good. You're so good that people don't want to pick you to win, and you still win. Richard's
yeah, there you go. Anthony?
Yeah, I'm going to change it up. I've been Graham guy strong all season. I just don't know what I'm getting from Guy right now. I think, someone like you mentioned Rawls, Birchfield are in the mix, maybe even sprinkle in like a Hamilton, Kano just for fun, but I think Trey's nailing it. Team fundamentals, just getting to watch them a lot in Myrtle Beach. I watched a bunch of their games. We saw what they did all the way to the end. I'm going to go with Richards Lopez.
All right. How about some hot takes? You got a hot take ready, Trey?
I feel like I could.
Is it Alex?
I feel like I want to go super. I think I want to go super hot.
Okay.
Super hot, just to ruin Alex Rawls' season. Nice. Right.
Okay.
Alex Rawls wins 2 nationals this year.
Oh.
Scorching hot.
Oh, wow.
Hot.
What's crazy? It's not that hot. I can see it happening. The guy is so good. Oh my God.
Twice.
All right, I'd alluded to it. So we're always talking about Cheyenne. She's obviously the favorite. We're now talking about Streaker and Finley as much improved. Belvin coming on strong. I'm going to say Sarah Cassidy, Woman of the Year. That's my hot take.
And then I'm going to pick Mark Richards as Man of the Year to go back to back because that doesn't really happen. So I think that if anybody could do it, it's him. So we shall see. That's all we got time for today. We made it. My power came back on halfway through. So thank you to the electric company. And we will see you guys all next time. Thanks for joining us.